today I'm taking the SkyTrain Expo line to downtown Vancouver. It is a very uplifting sunny day, and here I'm outside Granville Station. Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. So this is the busiest area of downtown Vancouver, and I'm waiting for bus 250 to West Vancouver. Here we are crossing the Heritage Lionsgate Bridge. There's a lion statue there. Yeah, to go to West Vancouver, we have to cross this Lionsgate Bridge, and the city of West Vancouver is right there, illuminated by the sunshine. Gorgeous day to be out here. And it only takes about 20 minutes bus ride from downtown Vancouver to the Ambleside area of West Vancouver. Here I just got down from the bus, nice mural there. Approaching Crema Cafe, beautiful clouds, the sky and the sea behind me. Here I'm going in Crema Cafe and bar. And it's very busy in here. Lots of people taking over almost all the seats, but they have a lot of good pastries and food. So I ordered a couple latte and a coffee cake. So I'm going to begin drawing with my Sailor's bamboo green fude fountain pen of my coffee and that big piece of cake. Okay, here we go. So the shape of the coffee cake is very much a cube shape. So I just began drawing the diamond shape of the top of the square cube. And then the front side facing me, which is a rectangular bar shape. And the right side forming this three-dimensional shape. So this is a human-made object. So the three-dimensional shape of the actually, a rectangular prism is very organic. I don't see any perfect straight lines on here. Now, I'm just using these squiggly lines and tiny little shapes to depict the coconut chips. And then another layer of filling there. These holes of air bubbles on the cake area and the bottom crust. So I just love observing these organic lines and shapes and just getting these laid out on a sheet of paper. Now I'm starting to add the top crust texture, these coconut chips, using these organic squiggly lines, very similar to drawing rocks and pebbles on the beach. Very much the same kind of lines. So right now, just using very gentle hand pressure to show the thickness of the little dish brim. And the organic and artistic dusty details on the dish. Now I'm drawing the ellipse of my coffee cup, the body part, nice and round. And the saucer on the bottom, the little handle on the right hand side. It's a very interesting three-dimensional shape with a sense of thickness. After drawing the brim, I'm ready to draw the liquid line of my latte and the latte art. The little heart with little swirls, the big swirl of the leaves, and the inner swirls. Final accentuation. Now I'm ready to paint with my Holbein Water Brushes and Mungyo Watercolors. I'm going to begin with my large tip Holbein Water Brush for the first layer or two. The beautiful blendings of color tones. So I'm going to start with diluted yellow ochre for both the cake and the latte. So this is diluted yellow ochre, kind of like an underlay for the cake. Blending on a little bit of concentrated yellow ochre and a tiny bit of orange mixed in. And just using medium chunky brush marks to depict the tiny little pebbly coconut piece texture. Wait for that to dry on the cake. Now painting the very first layer using diluted yellow ochre mixed with orange. Wet onto wet, a bit of burnt sienna around the brim area. And grabbing some orange brown to paint this little filling area somewhere in the middle of the cake and the bottom crust. And a bit of darker brown with a tiny bit of cobalt blue mixed into burnt sienna for a bit of value transition on this layer. Light brown with darker brown on top, blending together. And continuing using the residue of brown on the brush tip to add a bit of a light brown shade on the left side of the cake. When you're painting a cube shape, at least one side should be somewhat shaded. Now it's time to shade the white ceramic cup, first with a little reflective yellow-orange, mixing my own gray with cobalt blue and a bit of royal purple and a tiny bit of green, starting with a very diluted version of the gray. Same for the ceramic little dish, holding the coffee cake and giving the cake a shadow on the right-hand side. And shadows are always supporting the existence of something solid, further refining that filling area, and heavier orange-brown values for the coconut crust here on top, using medium chunky brush marks, and then coming back to the cup and saucer to give it another layer of medium gray. Slightly more concentrated brown around the very brim of the latte, so it has higher contrast. Final polish, and that's it. Now it's time to enjoy the cake and coffee. It's actually pretty good, not too sweet. So here is a look of my finished sketch of the coffee and treat. I moved to a different table so I can see better views of customers and the view outside the windows. To draw these people, I switched to my dark blue fude fountain pen, which had a thinner line, better for detailing these people. As you can see, I started with her hair, the top area tied up together, and the loose strands draping down, the hood of her shirt, forehead, eye socket, the eye, and the talking mouth. The ear, yeah, pretty close to the hair, eyebrow, and the side view of her eye. Yeah, she's looking very happy and excited, talking to her friend. And then the sleeve of her shirt, she's holding her cup of coffee. Now I'm waiting for the other lady to come to a more ideal posture for me to sketch, starting with her ponytail, the shape of her hair, her ear, forehead, glasses, the nose, and the cheek. Very hard to see the lips from this angle. And just adding some hair strands. I just drew her collar of her winter vest, the hood of her vest, and her arm bending inwards, and the stripes of her sweater, her back, and the front of her vest. The other hand holding a fork, eating her salad. And then starting to add these stitching lines on her vest. And then drawing the table corner, the thickness of the table, and a little bit of her legs. And that's very much it for these two ladies. Super engaged in their conversations, and I think they never noticed me sketching them. Okay, now moving on to the two guys on the right-hand side, starting with the hair, the shape of the hair, the ear, the neck, forehead, that nose area, eyes, eyebrow, lips opening, and then switching to my bamboo color sailor's fountain pen to quickly coloring in the dark hair of the man. It's so much faster than the other fude fountain pen. Okay, coming back to the dark blue one to draw his collar, his back bending a little bit, upper arm, elbow, and the forearm, the hand, and the other arm on the other side, and with a little bit of fingers, and the table corner as well. And then starting to draw his coffee cup. They also ordered several bottles of soda, water, or something like that in green bottles. Now, just drawing the hat of the other guy, forehead, the nose, and the lips, and the ear right under the hat. A bit of hair showing under the hat as well. Eyes, eyebrow, in very simple brush marks. The collar, which is actually pretty interesting to draw. And they have quite a lot of stuff on their table. I just want to fit in their Apple laptop computer here. It's okay to have overlapping shapes and lines when you're sketching spontaneously on location. And the stitching lines on his vest, a bit of wrinkles on his sleeve, and that's it. The essence of these four people. These days I enjoy practicing sketching people, and the ladies are still here. Same as the guys, after spending like 15 minutes drawing them, continuing my lines, using the bamboo colored fude fountain pen to get the thicker lines of the window frames in, accentuate a little bit. I didn't draw the smaller window panels in the middle of these two large windows. I just want to focus on the big gorgeous view outside, okay, without too much obstructions of those window bars, starting with the organic lines of the large branches and the tree trunk. All of the branches are merging together into a tree trunk. And then the bush on the bottom of the tree, using these squiggly lines to get the leafy forms done. Bit of shading on the tree bark. And some more cute little leaves. So outside on the other side of the street is the parking lot. So just drawing the back of a car, rear window, and the lights and the license plate. And then more leafy details for the big bush surrounding the tree. And I also enjoy sketching the views outside windows, including the views outside my own home windows and outside the cafe windows. Now just adding these minor branches and twigs from that tree. Yeah, just love creating these lively organic lines. And some more vague forms of another nearby tree. This one is an evergreen tree, and the holes that we can see through to see the sky behind. So as you can see, I'm switching back and forth between these two different fude fountain pens. I love both of them, so really depending on how I feel. Now I want to create some little more bold lines. The horizon lines defining the sea, the top of the mountains. And I want the details in that far, far distance. Very, very minimal. So we don't have to be way too detailed, rendering those details in a far distance. Just simplify it with just very few lines. And then drawing these pictures here, closer up, much closer up on the wall of the cafe. And the little house plant dangling down from the little shelf. And these milk and cream jugs. Napkins and other stuff on the little counter here. Okay, just having fun adding these details. Now is the view continuing towards the right. Sky and mountain outside this other window here, and a big pine tree by the beach. Just getting the lovely shapes of the branches in rapid shapes, done in just a few seconds. And then final polish. I think that's very much it for the line work. It's actually a little bit challenging to sketch in here because it's very noisy with a lot of customers in here, loud music. But I'm just having fun. The ladies are still here, but the men are gone. Now I'm ready to have a good time again with my Holbein water brushes, starting with the large tip with an orange cap. And I'm trying to calm down in this extremely busy environment, and it really trains my mind to stay calm no matter what kind of situation I am in. So sketching from real life observations is just so much more uplifting and rewarding in ways that cannot be experienced by working from photographs. So I just started with the warm colors, diluted yellow-orange for the wall areas, and then skin color is a mix of orange and red, diluted with a lot of water. And yellow ochre to start the first layer for these ladies' hair. And then a little bit of orange-brown to shade the blonde girl's hair. More brown for the other lady on the right. And the table is also a warm wooden color, so diluted yellow ochre to start with. A bit of orange-brown to blend in. Diluted red for the stripes on the lady's sweater. Very much the same diluted red for her hooded shirt, and a little bit pink purple to shade most of her bag. So her shoulder area is catching a lot of daylight from the window there. Diluted gray. I like to mix my own gray with cobalt blue and purple and a little bit green for this lady's vest, and more concentrated gray for her pants. Shade her vest a little bit with a darker valued gray containing less water, just to make her body look more three-dimensional. Same for this guy's jacket as well, a bluish gray containing a high ratio of cobalt blue, lower ratio of purple and green. Again, shadow under his arm. And leaving some bright edges on his back and the upper part of his arm because those areas are catching more daylight. Same for the other guy's jacket, playing with these two values with his black jacket and hat. And coming back to the colder browns for the table, which is a mix of burnt sienna with a little bit of cobalt blue. And same for the little counter there in the back. Now it's time to paint the outside scenery. So I just wetted the sky area with clear water. Just forgot the contour outline of the mountain there on the left side. So sky area was clear water, so it's easier for the blue to diffuse. So this is diluted cerulean blue using horizontal brush marks to follow the rhythm of air flowing in the sky. Little bit of clouds in between. So again, this is a super diluted cerulean blue with a little bit of value transition playing with water control. So when I'm painting sky, most of the time I like to keep that blue value very, very diluted compared to the other solid objects in the landscape like the mountains and trees. Now this is a key area, the shimmering water. So I'm using actually a very simple approach by using the few hair on the brush tip to get these thin brush marks, leaving a lot of white gaps in between for the white highlights of the shimmering water. Yeah, so simple yet effective, impressionistic and sensational. Okay, so that's it for the shimmering water. Now I'm moving on to paint the solid mountains in the far distance using Viridian Green. Again, value transition, starting with a lighter value and a darker value for the higher part of the mountain. And then the illuminated, sunshine illuminated road area and this evergreen tree here. And now it's time to paint the heavy colored foliage. So I'm just painting with Viridian Green mixed with a tiny bit of burnt sienna, diluted for the first layer of the bush. Same for the evergreen tree as well. I think this is a mix of Viridian Green and yellow ochre. First layer, I want it to be a little warmer for these trees. And then pure Viridian Green, wet onto wet. And just let gravity pull these color values together. So now the tree and bushes are looking more three-dimensional with different color values. And just keep painting on, no matter how busy it is behind me. A lot of customers streaming in, ordering, and the music is playing. It's actually a really big and spacious cafe, but pretty much all the tables and chairs are full. Yeah, and the baristas are very, very busy. And this is probably the last part of my painting process, and just doing some final polish, glaze diluted yellow ochre over that tree trunk. Shade her hair with darker sepia and thinner brush marks between the strands. And adding some refining details, such as shading the back of this girl with another layer of purple. And paint the tree trunk with a mix of Viridian Green and burnt sienna. The color of the bark is actually a greenish brown. And then thin brush marks for the branches and twigs. Heavier brown for the next layer. So there's a really interesting color of transition on the tree trunk. It's not an even brown. Shadow outside on the street. A more intense brown for these wooden areas. The rear lights of that car really stand out, adding a highlight to this picture. Slight bit more intense cerulean blue for the top of the sky. Little bit of gray here and there. Shadow on the floor. Another layer for that lady's hair. And more red-brown cheeks for the guys. And making that light bulb a little brighter with some slightly more concentrated yellow-orange shade this bush on the bottom half a little bit more. And a little bit of shade on the inner wall of the cafe. That's very much it. Here is the look of my finished cafe sketch. So this is the late winter view outside the cafe. This is a spectacular view of Lionsgate Bridge that we crossed in the beginning of this video. The shimmering seawater, here I am. The wind is actually still very chilly for me to sit out there and sketch. So next time, when the weather is warmer, I'm gonna come back to sit at the bench here and sketch this wonderful view. Here we are on the bus back to downtown. Stanley Park is right down the bridge. So see you next time, everyone. Enjoy your day. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. So I update my channel with about 2 videos every week. I will see you again very soon in the next few days. Bye!